I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Pamela.
And we're back today to discuss more on natural hair. Today we'll be talking about hair textures. We'll be giving a brief history on perms and processed hair. And we'll also be discussing transitioning. Okay, so I guess we'll start off by
talking about hair texture.
First hair texture is type 1. And type 1 is straight hair. Straight hair is defined as having no natural curl or coil, no texture or coil pattern. So basically, here's a picture of how straight hair looks. The next hair texture is type 2. And type 2 is wavy hair. Wavy hair is defined as being a mix between curly and straight hair. Wavy hair has 3 subtypes. Type 2A is defined as being fine and thin and extremely easy to handle. So here's a picture of what 2A would look like. 2B is the next subtype and is defined as being medium textured and more resistant to style and has a tendency to frizz. Here's what type 2B looks like. 2C is defined as being thick and coarse and more resistant to
2 category, which is still pretty soft.
Okay, then it's type 3. Type 3 is wavy hair. Wavy
and curly.
Wavy and curly hair is defined as having a loopy S pattern and appears to be baby soft and fine with lots of body. There are also 3 subtypes to the wavy and curly hair texture. 3A consists of loose curls and is extremely defined. It requires light moisture. Here's a picture of what 3A hair texture looks like. 3B is defined as having a medium amount of curl. The curl pattern ranges from bouncy ringlets to tight corkscrews. The crown is usually where the hair is the most curly. Here's a picture of what 3B looks like. 3C is defined as tight curls with corkscrews. Type 3C is the most kinky of the type 3 hair texture, and it has very tight curls. Here's a picture of what type 3C hair would look like. Type 4, this is the last and final hair category, and type 4 is defined as kinky. Kinky hair is defined as being wiry, tightly coiled, and appears coarse, but is oftentimes fine. Type 4 hair has 2 subcategories, and the 2 subcategories of type 4 is 4A. 4A is defined as being tightly coiled and requires a lot of moisture. Here's a picture of type 4A hair. Four B is the last and final of all the hair textures.
Some people always say that there's a 4C, but with our research we found out that it's just a 4B. We could be wrong, but with our research, we just found a 4B.
Type 4B hair is defined as having a Z curl pattern. Like if you take a strand of hair out of your hair, it will be like in a Z kind of pattern. The curls are less defined and they are tight kinks, but the hair is often cotton soft. So here's a picture of 4B hair.
Hey guys, and I'll be talking about the history of hair relaxer. A big misconception is that Madam C.J. Walker created the perm. It was actually Garrett Morgan, the same guy that created the traffic light. And it was kind of like a big mistake. He was an owner of a sewing machine store, and one day he realized that his sewing machine, the needle was moving too fast. So it was like messing up the thread would mess up the wool, and so he created this liquid to polish the needle, so it would be an easier the sewing thing to
machine
for the sewing machine, okay,
to work properly
without messing up fabric. Okay. So he left the liquid on the needle, and he left for a while. Came back and returned, and he noticed that the wool was much more smoother. And that was basically the invention. He realized, once he realized that the wool was much more smoother, he went to his next door neighbor's place, and they had a dog called Ardell, and they're known for like having really curly, coarse hair. So he put some of the liquid on the dog's hair and noticed that it straightened a great deal. So after that, he realized what he was dealing with, that he had just made an invention where people could have straighter hair. So then he, after, see how early animal testing people, see?
Okay, Miss Peter.
Anyway, he used it on himself, and it straightened his hair also. So after that, he just started creating a line of hair products. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the creation of hair relaxer. Now,
Thank you, Garrett Morgan.
well,
not
no
anymore.
thanks. I mean, for some people. But to go more in depth about hair relaxers, a hair relaxer is a type of lotion or cream which makes hair less curly and easier to straighten by chemically relaxing the natural curls. Lye relaxers. I know some of you guys have had lye in your relaxer, and contains sodium hydroxide, and is a mixture of sodium hydroxide, petroleum jelly, mineral oil, and emulsifiers, and it really helps with the mixture, and that's what creates the creamy consistency of a relaxer. And what the relaxer does is it breaks down the protein structure of your hair. That's why like product lines like Afuji, products that have protein in them to restore the protein that you lost by perming.
So now we'll take a quick transition from perms to transitions. For those of you who don't know, transitioning is basically stop getting perms, like when you stop perming your hair in an attempt to go natural.
And it's also not using heat, because like, you know, there's people that transition but use heat to straighten their hair all the time, and that's causing damage. Transitioning is like hair grow out naturally.
Okay. So there are two different types of transitions: term transition and a long-term transition. Short-term transitions, they're basically like people who decide to transition and transition for a month, but like not a very long time, and can't take the pressure and just grab a pair of scissors and chop it all off and do the BC. Now, long-term transitioners, they go without perms until they're comfortable enough with the new growth of their hair to actually cut their hair. I've seen some blogs where people have transitioned for over a year, and like their hair relaxed hair, like their natural hair, like grew out to like hair, and their relaxed hair was like down here. So it's a very long task to transition, and a lot of people do it. And it's really good for your hair, but
that's if they have patience too.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed, because a lot of my friends are transitioning. Like, you have to have patience with your hair, because your hair isn't just gonna grow out and become beautiful and natural overnight. A lot of people transition. There are different styles that they use to protect their hair. They're called protective styles. Some of them consist of twists, flat twists, two-strand twists, braids. People put weaves in their hair to protect their hair. People also put Bantu knots.
Yeah, they do Bantu knots.
And they use flexi rods or perming rods to curl their hair, just to keep from always having to comb and brush. And it's basically like the most like low maintenance you can do to your hair. Like, you don't have to put heat to your hair, and you don't have to do much to it besides moisturize it. And that's basically concludes our interview for today, so stay tuned and check out the rest of our video.